It's added to the
every
bill.
month.
To the bill,
Yep.
so if it rolls into the county and we get our money from
Yeah.
the county collects,
Correct.
then they
Plus
collect, what's their
Plus
rate,
10%,
1 and
15%.
No, they collect, whoever collects the tax bill collects the penalties.
and what's, and is the penalty, what's the
1.5%
county?
per month. So by
1.5.
August, that is,
Okay,
well, don't mean to break
yeah,
out my
no,
fingers,
Yeah.
but,
it's more than you,
So,
12%.
yeah, and that's assuming that the county gets out their
Oh,
delinquency
yeah,
notices
they-
before
yeah.
yeah,
November.
last year they
Right.
didn't get them out till November, so then it was
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
how do you know, deal with these phone calls to say, hey,
Well, yeah, what
That
if you,
was-
like, yeah, like, what if someone dies and you've inherited the house and the, you know, and you're not that on top of the probate,
yeah.
and you don't
No,
realize you
right.
have
Well,
to
and
make the property down.
that's a trying situation for anybody to be in,
Right.
to worry about, where's the status of the tax bill, right, when you're dealing with all those issues.
Mhm.
Well,
So, I mean, there are things that we can do.
I think we should, maybe do something to publicize the notify me, like maybe do a special mailing on just notify me, what are, I mean, there's other things, obviously, if there's water main or alley projects or something, but, you know, what are all the things on notify me that you could do? I mean, this is an important, maybe we need to promote that, and then put something, then put something,
and notify me.
put something, an insert, you know, a particular to in the property
Well, that
tax
could
bill.
be one of the general communications package going out
So
in the bill.
at least we're, right, I mean, at least we're like doing something and not, I mean, cause right now we're not really doing anything except the delinquency notice and I can see
And
why
that's
people
after
are
the fact,
upset, I can see
yeah.
why
Right.
people are upset, you know, I'd be upset.
Yeah.
What if you had a water bill, what if you had a pipe break and your taxes at the same time? You'd probably go bankrupt.
And, I mean, it happens, it does happen from time to time, you know, and it's very challenging situation for staff to address these issues with people when at the end of the day, there's just not much opportunity for us to
Right.
provide any resolution. And people are generally not comforted by saying, well, all this information was on your
Right.
tax bill.
I mean, I
because-
understand, there's still gonna be people,
Yeah.
even with all our efforts, there's still gonna be people who are gonna get flat-footed by this, but.
But to notify me, I think
like
that's
that.
a
I think
workable.
that's the easiest.
Yeah,
It's the
and,
easiest.
And we can certainly also add that information to our inserts for people to
Of where to
have an
send it.
opportunity to
Right.
review that and,
And that shares the responsibility because the taxpayers can sign up and then it's our responsibility. So it's, everybody has to be.
You know, or what if
That's good.
what if your spouse is the one who pays the taxes like me, and they disappear, and then how would I even know what he
Right.
paid or didn't pay? I mean, there's just.
And if you,
Good idea.
like, could you sign up for the notify me, and if you pay your taxes in full, you would still get the notifications of when things are due?
if you haven't already made your installment payment, please be advised that that's due at the end of the month, right? So that's a
yeah,
pretty
okay,
straight.
Okay, okay.
Right.
you know,
So,
that's
so
good.
really, it could be for any resident to
Correct.
sign up for
Yeah.
the tax notification.
That's good.
Cause I mean, I do think like, you know, even, like, we usually don't use the installment, but like, it's the end of the year, it's a crazy time of year, like, you know, when's Village Hall closed, like, I just think it could be super helpful for somebody who maybe isn't even using the installment plan. It could be helpful for other people too, so I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking on the website, and I mean, I wouldn't even know where
I
to
think
go.
it's under sign up. Is there a sign up? I want to sign up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I want to, okay.
Would be good too, because you'd have multiple people signing up, so a child of an older
Yeah,
person
sign
who's
right.
doing the billing or,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
and there's,
Yes.
so if there's any, they can help monitor
Yes,
that the thing's
exactly.
gotten paid.
Yes.
Or if there's
That's-
an
it becomes a
agent
very difficult
managing a
situation
shop, or
sometimes.
you can have, at least it'll alert them, oh,
Right.
Shorewood,
I
there's
need
a
to double
tax.
check,
bill.
right.
Yep,
Right, that's a very
Yeah,
good
so
idea.
that's just a simple.
Well, so when you go, I want to, it says pay bill online. I
Does
don't
it say
see
notify me, sign up? Notify me? I don't have my.
report, request, volunteer view. Anyway, I don't know, are you guys,
Oh, you know what
looking at the
alerts.
are you looking at
Alerts.
redoing the website? I thought Tyler was redoing it, or did he already redo it?
It does look a little
It's
different.
been redone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, we can always shift things. We can
Yeah,
shift
I was
things.
gonna
If there's
say,
something that
it's-
doesn't make sense where it's placed,
Yep.
that's easy
We
to
can-
do.
yeah.
Items,
That's an easy fix.
tax.
I mean, I think it would be really neat
Does
to.
it notify me right under the header?
I
Should
it
be.
should be right
Oh,
there.
yeah, here it is.
I-
Yeah,
Here,
I mean,
it's
I,
not.
it says no, and
Where?
And you can, yeah.
Notify me.
Yeah, see, look at this one though on my iPad, I don't see that.
Are you?
Scroll down a little bit.
Hold on, yeah, it's there.
Yeah, if you scroll
Oh,
down.
Yeah, right
Oh,
on
I
the
see
homepage.
there.
Okay, so.
So it's on the, you know, but again, without sharing more about what that is about.
Right.
Again, you know, I think that's an opportunity for improvement there, that's,
Mhm.
again, you know, not that, we have the things that are, effective to manage at a staff level, and that's certainly one of the couple of things that you suggested that we can certainly do. The other component to this, not to be lost on that, is some sort of municipal remediation of those fees as currently in place. You know, that was one of the other discussion points that comes up. Well, can't the village, you know, modify that or reimburse, however you wanna frame, because those fees were excessive.
Mhm.
So that was the other point, you know, we've been talking about what we can do proactively, but, you know, the current situation was also asking for opportunities to remediate the fine that was assessed. Or penalties and interest, right, fine is not the appropriate word.
You mean just the 0.5% that's the village's part?
This is the other state statute.
Well, again, you know,
Well, we could
we start
subsidize,
out,
I guess.
we start out with, we've got existing ordinances and we've got state statutes, but again, you know, is there any desire to pursue, having, you know, and again, this is what some of the issues here really talk about, you know, getting the city attorney to review the legal issues of the municipality, providing reimbursements or credits for those interest and penalties
Well,
that are
I mean, there's
assessed.
so many situations, like we've talked about, like you're managing a property for somebody else, or,
Mhm.
I mean, there's just so many different situations, I mean, I wouldn't.
How much would we spend on legal fees
Yeah.
to
Well,
analyze?
but the concept, as I understand it, for this particular resident, was that effectively a week late, you know, past the cutoff or 10 days, whatever it happens to be, and that generates $500 in interest and penalties because of the way the state statutes are worded, it goes back to February 1st. You know, so as opposed to saying, well, I'll pay my 1.5% for the 10 days that I was late. You know, so again, I just wanna be fair that I reemphasize that was really the primary focus of this memo is, you know, does the board want to contemplate any additional steps to remediate the existing system?
But there's already a 5-day grace, I mean, you have to cut it off at some point, or you're saying just don't go all the way back to February, just go back to March 31st or April 1st?
Whatever the situation may merit, again, because this is, you know, this happened to be the second installment, but the same thing would apply in the third installment.
But I mean, I do agree that, it does if you are on a payment plan and you're scheduled to make your payment March 31st, why should you be paying penalty on, when we've agreed you're not gonna have made that payment in that? So I agree with that makes sense.
Well, I think that was the resident's point as well, but that would require, again, some additional review here to find out, you know, the latitude of what would be allowable under state statutes, and then, yeah, well, there's a whole list here on the memo of things that we would have to do to make something like that come into place.
Well, you're saying state statute says how this is all supposed to work, right? So
Well,
we're bound
but-
by state statute, so why would we need a legal?
Well, but if we wanted to, if the village wanted to offer remediation contrary to state statute, again, a reimbursement of some sort or subsidy of some sort to offset what is statutorily identified, we want to make sure that if we pursued that, it was going to be allowable and didn't conflict with other state statutes that aren't specifically tied into that section, And then again, there's a number of scenario-driven questions we would have to address.
But you're saying it wouldn't just be our share of the property tax, it would be the schools, the county,
Oh, yeah,
everybody's.
you have to, everybody's.
Well, it would be all the penalties and interest, you know, which
But
is
they, but
which is on the total outstanding balances.
do the schools get a share of that, or do
No,
so the revenue all comes to us?
that's correct.
Oh, okay, so.
Until such time that we pass it to the county, then that becomes the county's.
Okay, so we could really change,
So that, right, allows us to have some flexibility.
yeah.
There is some cost to the village of administering this whole installment system and letting, I mean, I know with my credit card, if I'm a day or, and they go back, I mean, we're floating this money essentially that was due on the 31st of January, so we're counting on that money arriving, because we're paying bills, and, you know, I'd be a little concerned about where do you cut it off, you know? The property tax has to be $20,000 and it triggers so much. How about the person has a $4,000 bill and is $100 behind, which means a lot to them? I mean, where would we decide we're gonna be subsidizing with taxpayer money where people have not paid their bill on time?
Well, I mean, they would still be paying a penalty, but because we agreed with them, we're gonna let you do this, we're gonna let you pay again in March. Is it 3 installments or 2?
3.
So we're gonna let you do one in March. So it really doesn't, so if they're late, then they still pay the interest, but only back to the date that we agreed with them that the payment was due. I mean, we're charging them interest on 2 months that we agreed with them, they didn't have the payment due then.
But I sort of think of it like those interest only, or interest-free financing for like furniture or whatever. If you don't have it paid in full by that end date, they will then collect all of that back in interest. So I mean, I can kind of see, you know, where we are floating that money for them, and it is somewhat of a service of the village that we're allowing taxes to be paid in installments versus being paid in full. I mean, I think we have some opportunity to do better notifications, but, you know, I guess, I mean, it stinks for sure, you know, like, that you missed that payment, and, but, I mean, that's where I keep going back to, is that, you know, like, interest-free, actually home furniture, and then you don't pay it in full, and you're, you know, you owe $600 in back interest from the time you bought the furniture, even though you were only, you know, 30 days late or whatever it is.
Otherwise, you should pay cash, though.
Totally. But I mean, and those are somewhat predatory lending.
No kidding.
Exactly.
Well, it is,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
but I just don't wanna leave this conversation without really addressing
Yeah.
the primary aspect was that the methodology is fundamentally unfair.
Well,
Again,
Is
from,
it or
from,
isn't it? I
well,
don't know.
again, that was
Right,
the
but-
I mean, I think
message
it is,
that
but
the,
I'm not, you know,
But I mean,
The
I think
resident,
with the additional notifications and the additional communications, to me, it seems less unfair.
Mhm.
You know, if you are getting, you know, or like if you, I mean, if you don't pay your phone bill, you do get multiple notifications where they just shut
Right,
off your
right,
phone bill. So I
right.
do think if we are sending multiple notifications through different means of communication, email, mail.
But we're still not sending, I mean, we're just sending your delinquent, I mean, we
Right.
would, I mean, we're
Well, we
talking
would
about the notify me and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
But, I mean, other than that, we're just sending, when you're already delinquent and it's, can we, I think we're late, so
Yeah.
maybe we need to talk about it the next meeting, just to,
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to think about it a little bit too.
so it's like this back on the next
I would
meeting?
like to talk about it again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should
yeah,
do
on the
some,
next.
Okay,
yeah, what everybody do, I think, and that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't wanna get into.
Oh, and Dad,
Oh,
thinking
we
about
have
the
lots to
note.
talk about with sidewalks. too.
Sidewalks, all right. Call the Public Works Committee to order. First item is next steps for sidewalk replacement. We have Leanne here, and we've got a memo on this. And it sounds like the quantity of the set number number of sidewalks marked for replacement has increased dramatically. Do you want to give us some lead off here? And
Sure, so typically, when we do the sidewalk programs, we bid the project based on estimated quantities. We've been doing sidewalks for decades and decades, longer than any of us have been here. And those quantities don't vary dramatically from program year to program year, so we've always bid on estimated quantities. This year, those estimates didn't line up with what was found in the field. And I think that there are two reasons for that.
Okay.
One of them I can explain, one of them I can't necessarily. There is a lot of bad walking in this area. I really can't give you an explanation as to why we're seeing more than we typically see. But the component that I can explain is that we have a new village engineer who has not ever done a sidewalk program for us before. In the last several programs that we've done, we've had a village engineer that has, had some experience working in and with the village. And the sidewalk criteria that we have are they're very specific. And there's not a lot of subjectivity to them. And so we handed some very specific criteria to a new and eager to please engineer. And they applied those criteria very literally in the field. And
He went like this.
He's
I
literally
saw running
every
around like this.
and to be fair, that's what we asked them to do. We
Right.
approved a criteria and we asked them to
Right.
evaluate walks based on that criteria. I think in the past, our